हरिः ॐ शं नो मित्रस्यं वरुणः शं नो भवत्वर्यमा शं न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शं नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Now we are going to understand the lesson planets and meditation. This is the part of the occultism and zodiac, it seems, the lesson. Understand the sun as I am in you. This is the name of this lesson is planets and meditation. And understand the sun as I am in you, the moon as your mind, the earth as your physical body. Begin with the full moon or new moon, which is immediately after the March 21st. That is after the sun enters into the sign of Aries. Meditate on the full moon, that the sun is on one side and the moon is on the other side of your earth, and then the relationship between sun and moon and the relationship between the earth and the sun and the earth and the moon is to be meditated upon. Already we dealt with the full moon meditations and all those things. You know it very well. I will explain to you in a simple way. Meditate as the sun in the solar system is I am in you. The moon in the solar system is mind in you. And the earth is our physical body. So always relate these three things to you. Since we are the earthy beings, our physical body is the earth. It is not symbolism, it is a correspondence. You understand that. Don't think moon is a symbol of mind and our mind is the symbol of moon. Don't think like that. It is exactly the moon. It is not the representation also. It is the moon works as a mind in our physical body, in our body. Sun works as I am consciousness in us. The earth works as the physical body in us. On the one full moon day, imagine that one side to the earth, one side is the moon, one side is the sun. And then what happens on full moon day, what happens on the new moon day, how these three things, earth, moon and sun, they are placed in the solar system, how full moon day and new moon day they forms, how they occur, full moon day and new moon day occur. You just try to understand the phenomenon of that in your mind. That's what you explained. For example, the consciousness which you call I am, which is practiced as the Lord in you, goes and touches the moon, that is your mind, and then reflects upon the earth. So here Master is explaining a little more in detail. For example, the consciousness which you call I am, which is practiced as the Lord in you, this is the sun, goes and touches the moon, that is your mind, and then reflects upon the earth. That means your consciousness is touching your mind and getting reflected into your daily actions. This is the process that is taking place with every one of us. This is what you have to meditate upon the full moon and also upon the day of the new moon. The sun and the moon will be in the same place on the new moon. So the ray of the sun falls upon the moon and reflects only towards the sun, not touching the earth. Therefore, the moon does not exist to us on the new moon day. These two things will be properly understood by you when you begin to meditate on those 2 days. So how we have to understand this meditation? Touches the moon, that is your mind, the I am consciousness, the Lord in us, goes and touches the moon, that is our mind, and then reflects upon the earth. So how to understand this? How to understand this means, when you are doing something or when you are thinking something, First of all, we have to explain the process of yoga or the seven planes in us. Where when we understand all those things, we can understand this statement given by the master. So one day definitely we will go to that when we go to the third level of astrology. In meanwhile, what the consciousness reflects on the moon should reflect on the moon, and then the moon touches the earth. The reflection touches the earth. This is the thing we have to practice. That means the source, the main source is the Lord in us, that I am consciousness. It should be reflected on the moon. So moon has to receive the light from the consciousness in us. But generally what happens, we will not go and touch the consciousness. We stay only with the five senses, and senses, they will have the contact with the moon. That's it. There we ends there. We cannot touch the consciousness part of it in our meditations or in our life. Here on the full moon day, what we have to understand, the moon, the sun, the consciousness of the Lord, the consciousness of the Lord in us, that is sun. The light comes to the moon and reflects on the earth. This is the process we have to follow. Even in your daily life also, when you want to take a decision, just don't be carried away by the thought from the mind. Because when we are prejudiced, when the mind is not clear, and the mind is not in touch with the senses, then only we will get a clear thought, a clear indication from our mind. So this is the yogic practice. This is what Master is explaining here. So that means your consciousness is touching your mind and getting reflected in your daily actions. The consciousness touching your mind and getting reflected into your daily actions. That should be done in our daily life. This is the practice. That's why you have to use the full moon and new moon days properly with all the dietetic restrictions, procedure. Take very light food or the fruits or something like that, and understand the process, and then go to meditation. Here I would like to tell you one important thing. Don't go to any meditation mechanically. If you want to chant Om, for example, understand what is Om, what is the purpose of chanting Om, from where the sound comes, is it from inside or outside, what is the science behind it. We have to read it first, and then if you chant Om, it works properly. Then any meditation or any prayer, and whatever, even when you are doing the prayer of Master CVV, why Master CVV has given this prayer, particularly these letters or sentences, what is the purpose behind it, what did he say when he presented this meditation or a prayer to the world, what did he say, what he explained about his prayer. All these things we have to understand first, and then we have to sit in the prayer, or in the meditation, or in the sun meditations, or the zodiacal meditations, whatever it may be. We have to understand it first, and then if you sit in the meditation, then the energy, the flow of energy goes in a right direction, in a methodical way, and it will lead us into the further higher planes. That we have to understand. Don't do it any mechanical in the spiritual practices. That is what you have to, this is the purpose that is taking place with every one of us. This is what you have to meditate upon the full moon and also upon the day of the new moon. So Master KPK and Master Joel Cool and Master EK and so many great masters, and they explained about full moon and new moon things, and you please read those books and you please follow. Now we are going to the next level of full moon and new moon meditations. This is the next set of meditations. In the year you have 12 full moons and 12 new moons, so you have 24 meditations in all. For this reason the year is called the mystic song of 24 syllables, because it has 24 nodal points, that is 12 new moons and 12 full moons. For this reason the day is also divided into 24 equal parts, which we call ours, then there is the same meditation with little difference. So here he is mentioning about 24 meditations and 12 full moons and 12 new moons, and you remember that. The 12 full moons and the 12 new moons combined is 24, come to 24. So it is like a mystic song of 24 syllables, because it is 24. It has 24 nodal points. So for this reason, the day is also divided into 24 equal parts. That's why the day is also divided into 24 equal parts. That's the master explained. Then there is the same meditation with little difference. The same meditation, the full moon and new moon. This. So many people, they feel like they have to meditate every new moon, full moon, a separate full moon meditation. Is it a must to change the meditation for every full moon? What is the change in the meditation? The purpose of meditation is merging the lower consciousness into the higher consciousness. It is so simple. The meditation is observing. Meditation is nothing but witnessing. Meditation is the merging of the lower consciousness into the higher consciousness. The meditation of the purpose of the meditation is to realize who I am, isn't it? So it takes births and births and years and years. So changing the meditation all the time is not such a wise decision, and then not a wise decision, and you have to follow one meditation for many years until you realize, until you experience. This is the best way in any meditation. You just understand with the common sense. Once in Switzerland, when I was giving a course, it's a small group, every day, every year, when I go there and they ask for something, and I used to explain one meditation this year and second meditation next year, or after 6 months, like that. One lady from East Germany, and that year came to the course, and then she said, by this time you have explained almost 20 to 30 meditations. How you will find time to do all these meditations? Then I asked that. Then I told her, shall I tell you the truth? You asked me to tell the truth. She said, oh, of course. How you will manage to do all the meditations? Then I laughed and said, I will not do any of these meditations. This is a small group. They laughed and said, and why are you telling me? Why are you telling all these years, all these meditations? Because you are interested in it. Because you are interested in many meditations. That's why I am telling you. But if you remember well, I repeat one sentence in every lecture of mine. So pick up one meditation or two meditations, whatever it may be. And one is always better, which is comfortable to you and where you feel so happy and peaceful, where you are connected with that meditation, and pick up that and continue with the meditation for lifelong. Or if you get any other meditation from any teacher, other master, and listen to it and try to follow it for a few days, and if you feel it is much more comfortable and much more easy to do, and it is if it is much more easy to you to go into the meditation, for example, then do it. So it is so simple. Why all these masters give so many meditations means it is to understand the phenomenon of the creation of the human body, human mind, and different planes and the evolution, and what is going on, to make us understand the correspondence between the microcosm and the macrocosm. They used to give a lot of meditations, and they will give the procedure also. So we have to follow that procedure at least for 1 year. Then we have to decide which meditation we have to follow. Or it is so simple. When some master is there, if we ask him what type of meditation I have to follow in my life, simply they will give you one meditation. So don't think all these meditations are not useful and every meditation is so great. But understand, we cannot do all the meditations. Please understand that. If you do all the meditations every day, you definitely will stop within few years or within few months everything. So don't do that. So all these things, why you can ask me why you are explaining all these meditations. It is a must to understand the process of it. What is the moon? What is the sun? What is the heart? About our lungs and the constitution of the human being. About the universe, about the solar systems, about the constellations. All the things we have to understand. That's why I told you the meditation means to understand the process, to understand the phenomenon, to understand the pattern of this solar systems or galaxies or whatever it may be. This itself is a meditation. We have to come to a stage when we are reading these things, either from Alice Bailey or from the Master E.K. or Madame Blavatsky or any great author, writer or master. When you are reading these paragraphs and lines, you feel like already you are in the meditation. That is the real meditation, you understand. Please understand. That is the real meditation. If we close our eyes and try to meditate and mind goes somewhere and somewhere and somewhere and somewhere, and again we have to bring the mind back and put it and ask, we have to request the mind to focus on the meditation. But when you are reading a book, when you are listening to a lecture, if you just focus a little bit, and that is a very good meditation with very good explanation, and then already we will be in a state of meditation even when you are reading those sentences. That is the beauty in these writings, especially Master E.K.'s writings. Okay. Now personal full moon and new moon. Next year, instead of taking the full moon and new moon into account, you begin to discover your personal full moon and new moon. See, some days we feel very happy and people appear good, and some days we feel horrible and people appear very bad. These are what are called our moods, not others' moods. We don't like to speak to them. We sit in our own way. When you ask, why don't you telephone your friend? My answer would be, don't mention about him. After 10 or 15 days, he will find me once again very happy with the same friend. So everyone has his own full moon and new moon, and everyone has his own days showing a face of a full moon and some other days showing his own face of the new moon. So on some days there is a bright face, on some days there is a dark face. So personal full moon and new moon, this is very easy to calculate. Maybe Master gives the clue somewhere in the 25th this thing. Okay, then I will explain to you how to calculate this, but you know how to calculate this. General full moon and new moon is there, and in our personal life also every month we will get a new moon and a full moon. Generally in the horoscopes, where moon is not so strong, where moon is in certain houses, in certain signs, certain houses, aspected by other malefic planets, these people carry a lot of moods. Lot of moods like the moon phases. Sometimes moon is very bright when it is traveling towards the full moon. It is very bright, and it is traveling towards the new moon. Slowly loses its light and decreasing the size also. That's why people with the moods means is the moon quality. People that's why those people who are influenced by the moon, they carry a lot of moods. Some days they are very happy and some days they are not very happy. Like that they carry the moods, and we can very easily understand some people why he is behaving like this or why she is behaving like this. Then we can understand by seeing their faces. Okay, full moon is going to come within 2 days, or new moon is going to come within few days. Sometimes some people are very disturbed, and some days, then we can easily understand that that day particularly is the eighth phase of the moon. It is called Ashtami in Sanskrit, or eighth phase of the moon. Some days we are very, very peaceful, joyful, calm, and we speak with everyone very sweetly. And on that particular day, the meditation goes very well. The prayer goes very well, and our moods are in a higher side, and we feel very happy and jumping. Then, if you know, if you see the almanac, and definitely that day must be the 11th phase of the moon. It is Ekadasi, 11th phase of the moon. We in India, we call the 11th phase of the moon is very auspicious. Even at that day, we get up very early in the. Those I am speaking about the people who are doing the meditation regularly. I am speaking about them. When somebody is doing the prayer or the meditation regularly, it is a very, very common experience. Some particular days they get up very early in the morning without any alarm. When once they get up from the bed, they feel like doing the meditation. On that day, they don't want to eat much food because they feel like very full, and they take very light food and go to the friends and talk to them very happily, and they behave very happily on that particular day. If you look at the almanac, definitely it should be the 11th phase of the moon. Like that, we can understand the moon phases even without looking at the sky or looking at the almanac or looking at ourselves. We can understand what is the moon phase of that particular day. This is the thing we understand very easily when you are following the process of the full moon and new moon meditations. Okay, so I will stop here and let us go to the next 2 or 3 things are directly connected with the full moon and new moon meditations, and I will come to them in my next lecture. Thank you very much.